Sunday.
Not in a hurry day.
Why do we value
Time so much.
What is time? Time for Tim to look at his thermometer, indoor.
Outdoor thermometer that I've had my whole life. It's at 46 indoors, about 63, 46 outdoors, 63 indoors. It's because the heat is on.
Tick, 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 tick. Out the door. Without T-Rex.
See, we have company today on the Bass River Beauty House. And T-Rex sometimes chooses to stay in the room with the company. So I'm not actually sure which room he's in. Yeah, it was kind of a late night. And it was nice that we could change time last night from savings to regular. Is that what it's called? What is time? Well, the
Joke in my family is
time
is Tim, T-I-M,
with an E. Everyone gets a kick out of that. So do I. But I do have a serious philosophical answer to what is time.
There it is. We're experiencing it. Time is change. And we use the position of the sun relative to where we are
To gauge what
time it is. And so I just showed that clock, which was not changed yet,
and it said just about 10 a.m. But I think most of the clocks that change by themselves, like the ones on the phone and the computer, said it was more like
just before 9 a.m. But you know how we do it in the weather world?
it's
One place, Greenwich, England, coordinated universal time, otherwise known as several other things. UTC, GMT, Greenwich Mean Time, and what we use on the weather maps is Zulu, Z. So yesterday,
100 hours Zulu was 8 a.m. Today, 1200 hours Zulu is 7 a.m. There's got to be
one clock in the world that stays
steady. And you can learn a lot more about it at one of my favorite websites called timeanddate.com.
You go to the
Date.com and you can read about how the keepers of time, whoever those people are or that body is, are considering getting rid of the leap second.
It is confusing, isn't it?
And it all has to do with going around and around and around. You know what a circle through time is? It's a wave. And that's what we all ride. Waves. We can't help it. No matter
Where you go, there are waves.
How about down in the water?
How about up in the sky?
Cloud waves. What's up with these clouds? Well, these clouds are because there's relatively cool water coming, relatively cool air coming over relatively warm water. Pardon me. The ocean effect cloud on Cape Cod. Yesterday's cloud was confounding. I didn't think it was going to be such a gray day.
We'll talk about that and more. So anybody that follows me, and I appreciate all
The
the
new viewers knows that for TK, Sunday is called the not in a hurry day. I like to just stay wherever I am if I can, not move too far. Maybe
host brunch right at the house, watch some football, and then get back into the
rat race tomorrow, whatever the rat race is for me, because I really
basically spend all my time
creating content for out the door, weather, and more.
So why don't we do the weather? Okay. There have been some significant changes in the 5 to 10 day forecast,
And that happens all the time. Here's the Boston
5 day from one of my favorite websites also called weather.us. And it shows the temperature today in Boston barely getting to 50. And then tomorrow, about the same. There's a warm front coming. A lot of days when you get a warm front, the clouds come in and you get an onshore flow, and it's still chilly outside. But then the warm front goes by, probably rain free in most of New England, and then you're warm back up into the 60s on election day, and then into the 70s on Wednesday, when the wind will pick up and it will be time for another front to go by. Speaking of time, Tim, you skipped over the 7 a.m. sun up at 7 a.m. for more than 40 minutes already.
Today, the temperature map. I like the temperature map. It shows 18 degrees in Freiburg, Maine this morning is the cold spot. And 37 in Boston. No freeze in Boston, and still not expecting a freeze in Boston in the next 10 days. And on parts of Cape Cod, it was still 45 degrees because there was a breeze. And if you keep a breeze, or you have clouds, or you're living next to the ocean, it tends to keep you warmer at night. And we looked at this thermometer right here,
and it's still about 45, 46 degrees with a light breeze from the northeast. What is wind? Wind is air moving from high to low pressure. And the high pressure system is going across northern New England, and the circulation is clockwise, so we get a wind coming in from the northeast and some of these clouds coming in off the ocean. Here's my neighbors now all know I like leaves. Getting a little out of control because everyone gives me their leaves, but I appreciate it. If it ever rains again, those will shrink way down, and we'll have worms. This is the result of worm farm over here. And I was also gifted a pile of rocks because they were going to go to someone's landfill, and I said, those are too nice. What are we going to do with those? We'll find something to do with those. This is the rescue garden. We've been adding to the rescue garden, and the beautiful colors. All right, time to keep on
going with the weather. Hello, new neighbors. Jim and Amy, welcome to the neighborhood. Nice to have you here. And so what's going on in the forecast department? Well, I'd like to be lighthearted, but it was a serious night last night. In Oklahoma, along the boundary between the cold and the Rockies and the warm to record warm that's so persistent in the eastern United States, there was a tornado outbreak last night. In the middle of the night, near Oklahoma City, search and rescue ongoing in the pre-dawn in Oklahoma. And that's the battle zone, weather front, boundary between two different kinds of air. And the fronts have been decaying or evaporating before they get to New England. And another rough morning for people in Oklahoma. On the backside of that, snow. On the front side of it, there's going to be another push of warmth coming to New England on the backside of this high pressure system that's going by New England. And so why don't we just get to the New England weather forecast? We've already used up 8 minutes of your time here so far with this video. And it shows the high pressure system moving on in New England, and that storm in the middle of the nation driving up into Canada. And so now what was a chilly high pressure system turns into a warmer high pressure system. Air comes in from the southeast tomorrow. That's not very warm, but then on Tuesday, election day, showers to our north will have dissipated, and we have wind from the west-southwest, and the front stretches from Canada down to the Rockies. On the west side, it's cold. On the east side, warm to record warm here again into Wednesday. All those black lines are isobars. That's wind. Air moving from high to low pressure from the southwest. Temperatures are in the 70s. The front comes through here Wednesday and Wednesday night. And from north to south, it just falls apart again. A flattening of the jet stream. And it looks pretty much rain-free. Transition into slightly cooler air for Thursday and Friday. More seasonable, probably closer to 50. Not a hard freeze here on Cape Cod anyway, or Boston. And then look at Saturday. Oh my goodness. This is just a wholesale change. If you watch frequently, you know that I often stop the maps on a day that I think is going to be interesting. And about 4 days ago, I stopped the map here on Saturday at 18Z, which is now, instead of 2 p.m., it's 1 p.m. on Saturday. And it shows no cold in New England. And not even a hint of winter. It's so different with the 546 line, the 552 line, instead of the 534 and the 528 that we had the last several days, where it looked like a great window for making snow in our mountains. And now it looks like it's going to be warm next weekend. Such a wholesale change. And there's also a system in the Gulf of Mexico, and that would probably be Tropical Cyclone Rafael, whether it comes from north of Puerto Rico or the Caribbean. That's yet to be determined. The National Hurricane Center says the Caribbean. I'm going to skip over
the tropics for today. Put these maps back into motion.
and now we get to next Sunday, and we're in the warm air, and there's a lot of cold in Canada. That's a little bit of a change too, but it's staying in Canada. And then into
Veterans Day and the Tuesday, the
12th, still no sign of any early winter weather returning to New England like we had recently.
And what about snowfall? How about
Coast to coast snowfall. I've been counting these up. This is going to be the third
third week in a row with coast to coast snowfall in North America?
not the lower 48, but North America. And the storms are driving out of the Pacific Ocean and kind of splitting. Part of them go across Canada. The other parts go down towards New Mexico. Look at all that snow in New Mexico and Colorado. And then lift to the north. And then it snows in northern Ontario and Quebec, but not a flake to be seen in New England. Unless I look in the mirror. Get it? Ha ha.
And if we
Stop that at
day 10, add it all up, and we put the cursor over
over Taos, New Mexico. Look at that snowfall in Colorado and New Mexico. That's 3 feet of snow for New Mexico in the next 10 days. And nothing in New England.
You want to know where there is some snow? Jay Peak Resort. I looked at all the web cameras.
This morning, Killington, Stowe, no snow guns going at Killington or Stowe. Jay Peak turned the guns on at Jet, and it was cold enough at all those resorts to turn the guns on.
So who's trying hardest? I say Jay Peak is trying the hardest right now in Vermont. I mean, kudos to Sunday River. The guns are probably going at Sunday River, but I didn't look at that. That was open for a day. All right. Am I done with the weather? I think so. I think it's time to transition to the
And more. So we do the weather, and then and more, whatever adventures I'm going
going on, and it often includes the viewers' comments. And somebody asked, how does a weather stick work? I have one here too. And this weather stick shows neutral. Well, a weather stick is actually a balsam branch, which is cut off. The bark is cut off, and it reacts to changes in humidity. When it's dry, the wood contracts to preserve energy, and when it gets moist, it expands, and that causes the weather stick to go up. But in reality, this branch is actually turned upside down when they sell these weather sticks. You can go to Old Farmer's Almanac and read all about this. And it's a balsam, and this is 20 years old, and it still works. The weather stick is kind of neutral today. This is how it is when it's on the branch. So when it gets moist, the weather stick actually goes up, if it was a real tree, to bring the moisture into the tree when it rains. And so it does predict the weather, and I'm not sure why they have it, so we turn them upside down. So when it gets dry, it goes up, and that indicates nice weather, and when it's going to rain, it goes down, opposite of how it is really in nature. Is that confusing enough? Well, read the article in the Old Farmer's Almanac and get yourself a weather stick. That thing's 20 years old, and it still works. All right, so the and more. That was an answer to a viewer question yesterday. Thank you very much for all the viewer questions and input. And someone asked me about how to make a birch tree. Kate, your husband wants to make a birch tree flagpole. Well, I don't have one available right here, right now, but I'll talk more about that. That is a birch tree flagpole that we have in Weymouth, and I did cut down another birch, but it wasn't straight enough. You got to try and find a straight one. And so the and more yesterday, coming from the Fore River, and we've got a lot of birds. We did a harvest in the garden up there. Harvest season. We had a bee. Had another hawk yesterday. A bunch of cormorants. A bunch of turkeys in here. Look at that perfect lawn. That lawn gets vacuumed weekly. And what else? Just the travel to Cape Cod. A beautiful sunset down here. The colors on the trees and the colors coming out of the sky were so pretty. So time for me to transition out of this.
And here is the and more from yesterday, Saturday,
November 2nd, when I was very frustrated with the cloud. It was a unstable layer at lowest elevations and a
stable layer over the top.
top of it that caused that cloud. Right. What'd you say? Okay. Talk to you again tomorrow, Monday, at some point. Not sure what time, but we'll be here again tomorrow. Thanks for watching.
What do we have here? I haven't even gone inside from shooting today's out the door. Beautiful soaring predator bird.
At a golf club? Playing some golf down there?
Sure, why not?
It's a Saturday after all.
I'm
Still kind of perplexed by all the gray.
Hey, near Boston today. Yesterday we had a front go through with sunshine. Today high pressure is moving in with clouds. My excuse is a very low level,
Unstable layer with a steep lapse rate, and then above that there's a very stable layer under which this moisture is trapped. So cold air advection cumulus clouds are nothing new, but usually not with the advancing high pressure. Beautiful cloud though, isn't it? Nice flat bottom right there. The LCL, lifted condensation layer,
that's what it's called.
at a couple of thousand feet over Germantown and Quincy. Chilly Saturday. Looks like the sun might be coming out, Rex. You want to take us for a walk? Okay. Can you wait for me? Hang on. Hang on. Yeah. There's our tree. Oh, we haven't finished cleaning this up yet, Rex. Wasn't that one of our chores for today? There's more trees to come. More leaves to rake. Wow, look at the juxtaposition between the sun right there and the cloud. I love the differential lighting. The sun and the leaves. Okay.
Last of the leaves on this one. Wind of the last 24 hours really did a number.
Distributing the
Worm chow all over the place.
fluffy leaves. Get them all the fluffy. Not easy. Good Sunday project. Okay. Someone brought these here and dumped them here. I bring leaves to my yard, and other people bring leaves from their yard and drop them on the side of the road. There's that gray.
Wow, look at that. The wind came rushing down here like a
Huge leaf blower. All the leaves got blown into the yards.
grew that one, gifted that one. No, that one's from the Cape also. Gifted that one. And this one was ready way back in August, and everyone said, this is never gonna make Halloween, but it did. And now the critters taking advantage. Seed, feed the animals. Put this in the compost pile, and you get compost pumpkins next season. One or two of the seeds will likely survive anyway. Or the bees, remember a couple days ago? Oh no. He died doing what he loved. No, he's not dead. Not dead yet. Okay, I'll let you go. Put you down here. I don't know where your hole is, sorry.
And planes are taking off toward the east again. Just have to trust me. Can't see it, but we can hear it. And the bee is in there.
There he is.
Not much more I can do for you. I know that they had a family of them in there over the summer. Where do they go for the winter? Hibernating there? Pretty flowers there. And some fruits still left, and a November 2nd harvest. Sweet pepper, bell pepper, still kind of plump tomatoes. Just pulled up some celery. And with that, my worms. Yeah, I've been taking the celery as needed through the season. Not a lot, just a cute little garden. And that's what it looks like cleaned up. I wonder if you can use the roots. Are celery roots good for anything? Rex, turn around.
Look what Steve sees. It's cormorants.
Kind of all flocking together there. I want to see him swimming underwater. A flash mob. What color is the water? Same color as the sky. It's a reflection. All right, you guys. Steve will be back tomorrow. T-Rex, we're getting in the car. Heading to Bass River. Go back and forth between Fall River and Bass River. Ready.
Sirs, if you want to get it, it's $99.9 the queue.
Thought maybe we'd find some blue sky over Bass River. It's been pretty much totally gray from the Fall River to the Bass River. Pretty trees though. I can see a tiny bit of blue sky over there. How long before we have to take the Halloween decorations down? Let's say another week. Maybe another 3 weeks. T-Rex.
Take care of business. Now we're over the Bass River, and we may get a little glimpse of the sun here, where most of the leaves are on the ground. And there are some turkeys down there playing in the leaves. And there's one yard that looks really different than all the other ones. Someone vacuumed their lawn today. I'm gonna run down there for sunset, but before we do that, up close with the turkeys on the freshly manicured lawn, I'm telling.
Oh, it's happening. It's happening. We made it just in time for the last beautiful sunset after 5 p.m. until springtime. Love the low angle of the sun on the foliage. Oh, beautiful.
And what it's gonna do to the sky in a few minutes, but blinded. Bass River beauty. Oh wait, it gets better.
Oak leaves and seaweed.
The rack line, Fallon's Pond, Bass River beauty. Regretting that I don't have a tripod to make a little time lapse, but we've got web cameras for that.
All I can hear is Kevin's mower. Where are the crickets? I'm doing my best to be a human tripod.
Tripod holding the camera as still as I can.
The mower shut down. I do hear crickets. And I hear something foraging
In the brush.
and a siren on Route 6.
For the second time in 3 nights, a hawk just swooped right over my head. There he goes. About 10 feet over my head, aiming for one of these squirrels up in that tree. Meanwhile, the sunset's getting better and better, as they often do. All right, that's it for today. Back to Eastern Standard Time. Is that the hawk? Yes, it is.
Where'd he go?
Stealth. Good night.